Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kyra, and here on this channel we love makeup. But we love real makeup for real life and real people. Still sick around here. Everybody has had it. So if I sound kind of nasal or more than nasal than usual, that's why. Today we're going to do something different. I have revisited makeup favorites of the past, but I have never revisited any of my former Journey and Beauty Awards, which is a video that I do every year on the last day of the year, where I talk about favorites in every category as well as give out some special awards to some special products. So today I have 10 products to share with you, 5 that are still favorites and 5 that aren't. So let's go ahead and start with something that is definitely no longer a favorite. And honestly, I question myself for even putting this in the favorites of last year at all. And that is the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. I don't know why I felt like it worked for me so well at the time that we did the Journey and Beauty Awards in 2020, but I had this in a project in Partners in Creme, I believe, this year, and after using it like 15 times, I have determined that I don't like this. It adds texture to my skin, and because I have enlarged pores and things like that, it is not flattering to apply this and or apply anything over the top of it. So this is definitely getting decluttered from my collection, but it's also definitely not a favorite. Next, the next product is definitely a favorite, and again, still at the tippy top of my favorites, and that is this highlighter from Nabla. This is the Nabla Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powder in the shade Privilege. It is such a pretty shade. I feel like it's like a peachy gold, pinky champagne highlight, and I absolutely adore this. I'm wearing this today. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, over a cream highlight that we'll talk about shortly, but I do love this. You can see there is no Nabla embossed on my product anymore. I just would happily use this every day for the rest of my life, honestly, very honestly, and be able to get rid of most of the rest of my highlighters because this is perfect. It just gives that juicy glass skin effect, and you know, what more could I want? Number 3, I would say, is still favorite, but not a tippy top favorite. There is one that reigns supreme over this one, but it is the Tarte Sea Breezy Cream Bronzer. I have the mini, and this is in the shade Seychelles. I am wearing this as my only bronzing product today, and I still love this. I just wouldn't say that this is my number 1 favorite anymore. My number 1 favorite would be the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. I love that. I hit pan on that this year. I would like to work on this one in 2022. Just because it is such a lovely bronzer. I love that it has sort of a rosy undertone to it, very flattering on my skin year round. So I do still love this, but it has been knocked down from my favorite cream bronzer to a favorite cream bronzer. Next, an oldie but a goodie, is my Smashbox Cali Contour Palette. I do love this, and this is definitely still a standby for me. I love taking this to travel since it has a powder, a contour, a bronzer, a couple of highlighters, and a very neutral blush that works with a lot of looks. But I would not say this is my favorite face palette anymore, and honestly, I couldn't pick a favorite face palette this year, or at least I haven't yet, because I've gotten a couple of really good ones this year, but this is still beautiful. I love the highlighter in here. It's just so pretty. I love mixing the products in here. For bronzer, I sometimes will just go boop, boop, boop with the 3, and I have a nice glowy bronzer. It's just really beautiful and a lot more versatile than it actually seems. So definitely a favorite. I just don't think it is the favorite anymore. The cream blush and highlight that I have on today are the Kosas Color and Light Creme. This is the shade 8th Muse. I now also have Velvet Melon as well as Tropic Equinox. I actually had not worn this for a while up until today, and I do still really love this product. However, it is not my favorite of these products anymore, if that makes sense. I really love the Tropic Equinox shade and feel like it is the best shade for my skin tone. But like I said, I do still really love this. My makeup is not fantastic today. I did the minimum amount of makeup I could do to cover up the sick. But it is a really beautiful combo. It's not going anywhere. I have gotten a lot of use out of this one. It was a Jessica Braun recommendation. So again, still a favorite, just not my number one of the shades that I own of this, and just not a number one, I would say, in my cream blush collection either. But again, my cream blush collection has exploded this year. So stay tuned for the end of December when we find out what my true favorite cream blush is. This is a beautiful duo. I highly recommend any of these if a certain shade strikes you. Let's talk about a couple of complexion products before we move into a couple of eyeshadow palettes. The first one is the concealer that I'm wearing today, an oldie, a goodie, and definitely still a favorite, right up there next to like the Kosas Revealer concealer and some of my other favorites. And that is the good old Maybelline Fit Me Dirt Cheap Concealer. I have the shade 15 Light, and this is always a good shade match for me. It seems like it's medium coverage, medium hydration. It's just like a happy medium on all of the things that you could expect from a concealer. It's just lovely. I really enjoy this. Mine is starting to show windows in it from usage. There is the shade for you, but I love this. This is the only complexion product I have on today in terms of coverage. I don't have any foundation on, so I just put this under my eyes, a little bit in the T-zone to even myself out, and that is it. And that is frequently how I reach for this. This is just a good everyday, no makeup kind of a concealer. If you have not tried this, I really do challenge you to try this, because I think you'll be surprised how good this is in comparison if you have any higher end concealers. It's fantastic, and it's very flexible too. I find that if I'm in need of a little bit more coverage any given day, I put this on and let it set for about a minute, and then I go in with a damp sponge and blend it out, and the coverage becomes very flexible that way. Not so much a favorite anymore, the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. Again, this is the mini, and there's still a ton of product in here. The one thing I do like about this one is that if you're wearing a lot of cream products and you need to set them after application, but you don't want to take away from the color or anything like that, this is a good one for that. But I also feel like the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder is pretty much a dupe for this, and I will link my most recent dupe video for you guys down in the description box, along with last year's Journey and Beauty Awards, in case you're new here. But like I said, this is a decent powder. I just don't think it's worth the price, having tried the e.l.f. one now, as well as I'm not really buying anything additionally from Hourglass. So I think in the new year, I will probably start working on using this one up and moving it out of my collection. So not a favorite anymore. However, long time favorites are my number 7 powders. I did recently add the loose powder to my collection, but I've only used it once, so I don't have any thoughts on that. But these are fantastic. First of all, the Lift and Luminate Triple Action Finishing Powder in the shade Light. This is soft and buttery and silky, and is the best powder for under the eyes. I have tried the Charlotte Tilbury, and I have tried a host of other powders that people recommend for under the eyes. This is better. It's just better. And I do have this on my under eyes today, although again, sick. So if it doesn't look good, don't blame the powder, blame the germs. And then a recent repurchase along with the loose powder is the Perfect Light pressed powder. And this is the translucent shade. This one is not quite as buttery feeling, but the thing I like about this one, and if you like the Rimmel Stay Matte, you'll appreciate that this does not pick up a ton of powder on your brush, and therefore it sets your makeup without you looking in any way powdery or things like that. This is just perfect for me. I do really like the LYS setting powder. That was a recent discovery, or a discovery this year, that I really love. But this one is $13 at Target, whereas the LYS I believe is like $18 to $20. And I just love this one. I've been through 4 or 5 compacts of this over the last couple of years, and this sets my makeup beautifully every time. I am an oily combo kind of girl, and so I need a powder that's dependable, but I don't want to look matte, I don't want to look cakey or dry, anything like that, and this is perfect for that. For palettes, I have 2. One is still a favorite and one not so much. So the first one is the palette I have on my eyes today, and I will link down below the videos in which I did multiple looks and reviewed these palettes as well. This is the Sydney Grace Enduring Love palette. This is the light version. They also have a dark version, which I think is amazing. And this is definitely still a favorite. I need to get into this more this winter. I love cool tones for winter. And there's a little warmth in here, but it is mostly cool tone. I haven't reached for this a ton this year, but I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of palettes in that category. I just have too many. But this is absolutely beautiful. Love John, love Devotion, love Elizabeth. Just look at the shine on those suckers. It's amazing. And I have quite a large collection of Sydney Grace singles, but these are still favorites for me. I mean, just look at those. How can you deny how good this is? I love the mattes as well. They're soft, but they're buildable and blendable. And I love, again, that they have 2 versions. It's mostly the mattes in the dark palette. They're a little bit deeper and more appropriate for persons of color, which I think is amazing. Everybody should be able to have this palette and enjoy it. I also really love this shade Juliet. It's just a soft pink. It's what I have on my inner corner, and it is gorgeous. So definitely still a favorite. And then the one that's surprisingly not necessarily still a favorite is my Pat McGrath palette from holiday last year. I don't know if I was just really excited about it at that time, or if it really was a favorite at that time. I can't imagine that I got this too much in advance of preparing and filming the Journey of Beauty Awards, but this is the Pat McGrath Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity palette, and it is beautiful. I just have to say, in this palette at least, and I have never tried any of her large, luxurious, black lacquered Mothership palettes, I would have to assume that the formula is better if people are paying $129 for them, but I don't find this formula to be as impressive. I think there's a ton of fallout with the metallics and shimmers, and I find the few mattes that are included in here to be really dry. I do appreciate this palette. I'm not going to get rid of it or anything, but I just, in honest truth, I have not reached for this palette at all this year. Not once. And I feel like that says something. Again, not getting rid of it. There's some beautiful, like I said, duochrome. Love this like electric orchid shade. But like I said, I don't find the mattes to be impressive at all. I don't even like the colors of mattes that they included in here. I would have rather had some more neutral shades with which to add some of these beautiful shimmers on top of. So sadly, not a favorite still, but good enough to keep in my collection. For me, this just isn't a standalone palette, and I do think that's part of the problem. But I'm considering working on panning a very neutral matte palette in the new year, and if that was the case, it would pair beautifully with this and I might get more use out of it. And there are other palettes that fall in that category in my collection as companion palettes, palettes that I don't necessarily want to use all by themselves. So that is what I have for you today. Hopefully the nasal voice was not too annoying, and let me know down below, what were some of your favorites from 2020 and are they still favorites for you today? Of course, I only brushed the surface of the Journey and Beauty Awards from last year. I didn't want this video to be too long because those are quite long, but I hope you guys are looking forward to Journey and Beauty Awards 2021. I know I am. I need to start thinking and working on that. And with all of that said, thank you so much for being here today and taking the time to watch this video. If you found it entertaining or helpful anyway, I hope you will hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing before you leave, and then we can see each other in my next video. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days.